The following program is presented by the HTM Podcast Network.
Welcome to another episode of Turnbuckle Talk in partnership with thechairshot.com, presented by the Hitting the Marks Podcast Network and in association with NJPW.com. Turnbuckle Talk is sponsored by collarandelbowbrand.com, where you get 10% off when using promo code JKPodcast. Turnbuckle Talk is also partnered with Phoenix at FNXFit.com, where you get 15% off all your health supplements simply by using promo code TBTalkPod. Follow the show on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter by searching at TBTalkPod. Listen on Podbean, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere you catch your favorite programs. And now, pro wrestling fanatics, are you ready? Here are your hosts, Big Joe and Karl Karufel.
Welcome, everybody. Yeah. Thank you for joining us today. This is Turnbuckle Talk. I am Karl Karufel, and that guy over there is Big Joe.
I'm still
That's
waiting.
how you got to start that. You don't.
I'm still waiting for my coffee to kick in, man. I'm waiting for the coffee.
Really
I'm waiting for the coffee.
That my coffee hasn't kicked in yet. What the hell, bro?
Waiting for the caffeine to hit my brain, and then we'll be good to go. All right, man. Well, before we get into the wrestling discussion, what's been going on over there in Northern Ontario in Canada this past week?
No, I mean, not too much. Everything is really still relatively the same when it comes to this plandemic that has gone on here. Really not much of a change at all. I am off last night and tonight, which is awesome. So I was able to go out and have myself a bonfire. I love me a good bonfire. So I'm going to be doing another one tonight. And that's really about it. What about you? How's things down Southern Ontario?
It's been pretty much the kind of the same old deal down here. Still working away. Still, we have a lot on the go. We got all the Andy Martin stuff. But it's nice to come on and just talk about something that's non-COVID-19 related, because we've just been inundated with all of this news and everything about this. So it's nice for a bit of a breath of fresh air to talk about something non-pandemic related. But before we do get to the wrestling discussion, I do want to touch on something, and it hits a little close to home. And I'm talking about our friend, Mr. Michael Jargo. First of all, that whole area basically got hit pretty hard with something akin to a hurricane, essentially, which is very unusual given that hurricanes tend to not really hit and form over land. But it was something very similar to that, and unfortunately, his sister and their family, basically their house was destroyed. All right, due to kind of what went through there. So there was a GoFundMe that was put up for this, and it's done really, really well. We're just we're at just under 9,000 of the $10,000 goal. So if you can, feel free to donate towards that GoFundMe. If you go on to my page, you'll find a link for it. If you go on to Mr. Jargo's page, you'll find a link to it. And if you can't spare the money, they are accepting donations for clothing for the kids and whatnot. If you could do that as well.
Definitely, and I do believe that we have it on the Turnbuckle Talk page as well. If we don't, we will make sure that it is up there for everybody. The family itself, there's 5 boys, 5 young boys that are there, as well as the husband and the wife. So it's tough, and I'm very happy that people have stepped up the way that they have, and that $9,000 towards a $10,000, that's fantastic.
Yeah, for sure. And even Jargo himself, their home, they have no power, no water, or anything right now. I think in the next few days they should be back up and going. If you guys have been wondering why Destino and why some of our shows haven't showed up on the HTM feed, that's why. Jargo doesn't have power at his place, let alone water and all this other kind of stuff. So
yeah.
he'll be back soon. And along with that too, just a little bit of news on the HTM podcast front. It does look like the feed is going to be going for another year. It looks like we've been renewed,
Awesome.
and we're going to continue to be a part of that. So just a little brief update on that front
Beautiful.
there. All right, Karl, let's get into the wrestling discussion here. Let's talk about the WWE going to some non-PG content. I'm curious to talk about this to you because, as you are all well aware, I don't consume a ton of WWE content. I still keep in touch so that I can still be, relevant to what's kind of going on here. But what do you think about this shift away from the PG?
I think it was a forced shift.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at all of the stuff that the competition right now is doing, which is very much so almost at times are with some of the language that's being used on the program. But yeah, like I think that's exactly what's happening here is that they needed to make that shift over to TB14 as opposed to TVG or whatever it was before. Right. As long as it doesn't get to like TBNR, where they're just ridiculously doing crap again, I'm okay with this. Put in a little bit of extra whatever, extra violence, extra language, whatever. If it's going to grab your audience, then do it.
For sure, but I'm definitely on the same wavelength as you. I don't want it to get too far. We've seen the Raw Underground thing. I think that's definitely part of this plan. As you heard on the previous episode, that was kind of a miss with me. I think they're still kind of going forward with that. That didn't really resonate much for me, just because, like I've said before, I come from the train of thought. I've seen a lot of MMA and I've seen a lot of professional wrestling, and sometimes it doesn't quite jive depending on the talents doing it. The stuff with Seth Rollins and Dominic, I thought that was kind of a little iffy, a little borderline. That got pretty violent. Yeah. The kenoing. If you can just Google it and look, he got beat up pretty bad there. For those criticizing and calling WWE fake, I would definitely steer you in that direction, or just calling wrestling fake. But that's that typically doesn't happen a lot in professional wrestling where somebody gets beaten that badly with that. But it's definitely. I would agree that this is a forced shift, just because you can tell it almost kind of feels like a panic move. It's like, okay, we're realizing, hey, we're losing touch. We need to make a shift, and just with Vince still at the helm, I'm worried that we're going to get into some slightly absurd stuff coming soon here, Karl. I worry.
I definitely am worried about that,
especially with the girls, especially with the women. I'm very concerned.
That's where I was just going to go with that. I'm very concerned about that. There definitely isn't a huge, impactful roster of women right now in the WWE, but they are doing pretty well for themselves. And I would hate to see a backshift going into this. I would rather a forward shift and not bring in anything that's going to be detrimental to the women's division. That's one of my biggest fears, is that the women's division is going to suffer in this and suffer in a way that is going to be very demeaning to the women.
Mm-hmm. I could definitely see some more risque stuff happening I don't know if we're going to see the bra and panty match type of stuff again, but I like that. It looks like they're at least recognizing that they may need to make some kind of shift, but at the same time, just like you said, I'm a little concerned. And as much as sex appeal is great up to a certain point, but it would feel like you're saying, it would feel like kind of like a step backwards. I'm okay. Use it sparingly if they're going to do it. Don't go all in with that, and it's. Yep, it'll be kind of a wait and see. It's we've seen little hints of it, but they haven't quite dove into the deep end yet with this. So I'm legitimately concerned, but hopefully some kind of change will be good to mix it up. I don't know. And without the crowd there, it's still a little iffy. There's so many question marks with the WWE right now. So many question marks.
I do want to mention here quickly for everybody that SummerSlam is going to be happening this Sunday with the WWE live on the WWE Network. They were able to actually secure, I think it was the Amway Center. No fans.
No fans. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
there's some breaking news regarding that, but we'll get that into a later segment. That situation there has changed a little bit, so we'll get to that in our breaking news segment. All right, well, let's shift away from WWE here, Karl, and let's talk a little bit about AEW in the form of a new referee. Well, at least new to AEW. If you guys are wrestling fans, you will recognize this gentleman. We were talking about Mr. Mike Chioda. Showing up in AEW and looking almost as red as that belt, Karl. Just saying.
That's exactly what I thought too. The first time I saw that live on my television screen, it was the same thing. I'm like, is dude holding his breath? Like, what's going on here?
He looked like he was blowing up there. Could be a mixture of nerves, who knows, man. But yeah, good to see Mike, and good to see him working in that, as the graphic says, 33 years of referee experience. I'm still a little taken aback that WWE got rid of him. He was kind of their senior official, and they got rid of him. And once again, we're seeing another WWE cast-off coming to AEW, and I hope that AEW doesn't use him as a tool to kind of poke and prod at advancing the WWE again. So that's my only concern with this move. I like, Mike's a solid referee. He's refereed some of the biggest WWE matches of all time, but just don't use him as a tool to piss off Vince. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen. I mean, Mike Chioda is probably one of the best referees in the business.
Yep.
Watching that match that he reffed, I was super impressed. He wasn't out there making a big show about things. No. And, when a body slam happened, he wasn't jumping halfway up into the air and throwing his arms all over the place. Yeah. He is a solid referee. So I'm glad that he's got work. Definitely, I'm glad that he's got work again. But like you, I hope that they don't use him incorrectly.
Yeah. He might be the type that might be able to kind of reel in Remsburg a little bit and be like, hey, dude, you know what? Don't go into business for yourself out there. You're not, the focal point here. So
let's hope.
Especially Paul Turner should be able to do that. He's another guy, too, that's, came from the Ring of Honor side of things and a really good official there. So they've got a really good, solid referee base in that company now, which is good to see.
They definitely do. You're right.
Good to see. And, we have...
So hopefully those two can rein in a couple of other people that are there. Yeah. And one that I feel has been kind of misguided a little bit, Miss Aubrey.
Yeah.
She's kind of got into that same type of showboating as a referee. And I'm pissed off about it. I really am.
Was she not a worker at some point? Like, was she not an actual wrestler?
I'm not aware of that.
I'm actually trying to Google this now.
Google it up. Look at it. That's what we do here live on the show. We go ahead and if we're not sure, we got the internet ready and available for us to go and take a look and see.
I'm using my non-sponsored iPhone 11 here to look this up. It doesn't appear that she has any in-ring experience. It looks like she has some rugby experience. And it looks like she also wait a second. Yeah, she had some rugby experience, and clearly she's somebody that's obviously interested in professional wrestling. But yeah, it's weird with her. I mean, she had a really, really great start. I mean, she's obviously still quite good at what she does, but it's a little too much. We're the idea is to accentuate the action a little bit, but she's not quite Remsburg territory yet, but it is getting a little silly with some of the stuff that she's doing. But and I get it. She wants to be part of the show, and I totally understand that sentiment. But the referee isn't meant to steal the show. It's just not
exactly.
I'm old school that way.
Yeah,
maybe
so am I.
Maybe to a fault, right? So I know that there's a shift in the new school to make the referees more part of the show. On the extreme side of things, with Mr. Remsburg, you can search YouTube for this one. Of course, is notorious of him refereeing the match with no wrestlers, Invisible Man versus Invisible Stan. You can go watch that. It's funny and it's comedy for what it is, but at the same time, it drives a wrestling purist like myself absolutely crazy, and
bonkers.
And I get it, but at the same time, we don't want this to become the norm. Like if AEW were to do something like this, I think it would be extremely detrimental. And also with WWE, I mean, I don't want to see them start taking shots at each other like that and doing silly stuff to try and outdo each other. It could really kind of make both parties look bad. But
yeah, definitely could.
Again, the focus here is on Mr. Chioda, and it is good to see him with a job in wrestling. So, and I'm glad that it's with a really good company. He would have been pretty much a good fit anywhere, even in Impact. He would have been nice to have. New Japan might have been a little bit of a stretch, maybe the New Japan America stuff, but yeah, I think he landed in a pretty good place here. So, congrats to Mr. Mike Chioda and still being employed in the wrestling business for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm super excited about that. There is one person who is a little bit worried about Mike Chioda being inside of the
Who's that?
AEW. Who do you think it is?
If I had to guess, it would be Mr. Richard Bronson Vickery.
No, actually, nobody that we personally know.
Okay.
Is a former WWE referee.
Oh, Earl Hebner.
Not Earl.
Not Earl.
No.
Who would it be?
I'm trying to find it here again, and I want to.
Little Nate. Maybe
no. Who's the Canadian guy that's been doing his little coffee talk things?
Oh Jesus, I can't remember off the top of my head.
For some reason, I can't remember his name either.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on that one. Like, is he currently a referee for WWE?
No, he's retired.
He's retired.
Huh. And what is his name now?
I can't remember. Try maybe
somebody tell us.
Yeah,
somebody's got to know.
Somebody's got to know. Let me try. Canadian WWE referees. We got. There's one named Jimmy Corderas.
That's it.
Yeah.
Why couldn't I think of his name?
He was the first one that popped up.
Jimmy Corderas. Yes. He's doesn't seem to be very happy about Mike Chioda being in AEW right now.
Was there a particular reason why?
Oh, like I said, I was trying to find it again here.
I mean, I'm curious as to why he wouldn't be happy with that. Yeah, Charles Robinson was the other guy I was thinking of. Who's off?
Charles Robinson, Little Nate. Yes,
he was the other referee that I was thinking of. But yeah, it's I mean, a little disappointing that that somebody would be upset that somebody's getting some success outside of WWE, but without a little bit more context, I don't really know what to say about the matter.
And what ticks me off is that I had it up on my phone. There it is.
There it is.
Okay.
Karl found it.
So AEW debuted, and I'm taking this from ringsidenews.com just so that it's plugged out there for them. Yeah. Mike Chioda, Dynamite this week, promoted as having 33 years experience.
Yep.
Mike Chioda, Jimmy Corderas. During a ref and rant, Corderas pointed out that Chioda's 4 count during the TNA title match, but he excused it. He called even more attention to Chioda's involvement in the main event match between Jericho and Orange Cassidy. This was followed by Jimmy Corderas saying that he feels bad for Mike Chioda, or that he has to be part of it. In the main event, I know I'm going to get heat from Le Champion for this one, but Chioda gets distracted by fighting way off the stage, or by fighting that was off the stage.
Yep.
That's typical AEW. That's the stuff I have an issue with with the referees and how they distract the referees. Horrible, horrible. And I feel bad that Mike has to be part of that. But he did say in there that he is happy for his friend Mike Chioda because he has a job. He said Chioda is a good get for AEW. That doesn't mean that Chioda was immediately able to put an end to these shenanigans.
Interesting.
So, yeah, he's saying that he's happy for his friend Mike Chioda, but feels bad for him at the same token because he has to go through all of this crap.
I can kind of feel what he's saying there a little bit. Some of the shenanigans going on to a certain extent. I get it, but I mean that's kind of been typical of AEW. They've been kind of doing that stuff with the distractions and whatnot. That's kind of been happening quite a bit. It kind of is what it is. With the stuff with I mean, in an Orange Cassidy match, I think you got to expect a little bit of some funky stuff there. But as long as he's happy for his friend, then I'm happy.
While I've got it here, okay, I'm just going to play this for everybody. Okay.
Sure. Oh, there's actual audio of it.
Hello again, everyone. Former sports entertainment referee Jimmy Corderas with your Rough and Rant for today. And going back to my old buddy, my old pal, my friend, Mike Chioda, Kiki. Like I said, I'm glad that he's able to be with AEW, and I'm glad they picked him up. Good acquisition. And I was hoping that he'd be able to change the culture of refereeing in that company, which is what I have a big issue with. So upon further review from Wednesday night in the Cody match, I could excuse the 4 count because that happens sometimes. You know what I mean? You're excited. You're with a new company. You whatever. Anyways, that's not the big deal. But in the main event, and I know I'm going to get heat from Le Champion from this one, but he gets distracted by fighting way off the stage there, and he leaves the ring. That's typical AEW. That's the stuff that I have an issue with their refereeing on how they distract the referees. Horrible, horrible, and I feel bad that Mike had to be a part of it. And also, nut-shotting a guy, but then that same guy you nut-shotted is able to roll you up, and then after the roll-up, sell? Please.
Yep. So there you go. There's right from the voice of Jimmy Corderas himself.
Can't say I disagree with
what
him.
He had to say. No, me either. That's why I wanted to bring it up. That's why I was like, where is this? It's gone. I got to find this. And because I mean, I kind of agree with him.
It's a worthwhile criticism. Absolutely. I definitely agree. And, I think they need to scale back some of that approach just to not turn people off, because especially with some of the traditionalists like us, I mean, seeing stuff like that, it's kind of like, I get it, but at the same time, it's kind of a piss off. So I totally get where he's coming from with that. Let's bounce back over to WWE and talk about probably your favorite guy, who you have in the background. I told you I was going to be able to find a way to kind of tie this into next week's episode.
Right?
This week's episode.
How cool is that?
Right. Shawn's going to be on Raw tonight. As we're recording this live, or we're broadcasting live here, your boy Shawn's going to be on Raw. This is clearly tied in with the other Randy Orton, Ric Flair stuff, right?
It definitely is. Even the WWE on the official website put it out there as well that Shawn Michaels is going to be on Monday Night Raw. And they've asked the question, what is he going to say about Randy Orton and Ric Flair?
What do you think the end game is here,
It's already
Karl?
been put out there that that's what it is. And
what's the end game here? I think I know what it is, and you're not going to like it.
Tell me, you think Shawn's gonna like do a heel turn type of thing and side with Randy?
No, I think they're setting up. I think they're going to try and have some type of match between Randy and Shawn. That's where I think this is going.
I hope not.
I told you were going to like it. I told you.
I hope not. I mean,
that's what they're going to try and do. That's what they're going to try, or they're going to try and set up a match. Or as crazy as it sounds, maybe they'll try and not only get Shawn, but try to get Rick as well, and then find somebody to join with Randy. And we could have ourselves a tag team match. That might be a little bit more far fetched, but I could totally see them trying to lure Shawn over for another match, specifically with Randy.
Could we see a 2-on-1?
Maybe.
Maybe Shawn says, "Hey, you can take out one legend, but can you take out two?"
Take out two. Yeah.
Maybe. I hope not, though. I don't want to see Ric Flair or Shawn Michaels in the ring. Mm-hmm. As much as I am a fan of both of those guys, top guy Shawn Michaels, next Ric Flair, like that's half of my Mount Rushmore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see it. They both have done enough for the business that we don't need to see it. Now, could we maybe see an NXT call up? Because we know Shawn does a lot of work with NXT.
Mm-hmm.
He's, helping out down there, lending his hand and his voice and his charisma and everything towards the stars of NXT. Is it possible that this is a NXT call up that would possibly be mentored or managed by Shawn Michaels to take on Randy Orton?
That I could see too, where Shawn basically approaches him, and this essentially how you would kind of lay it out is, I want to be the one to kick your ass, but I can't. So I'm going to bring up my boy Adam Cole to kick your ass.
You see, that's what I was thinking too. The two names that I was thinking was Adam Cole or Karrion Kross.
I'd rather see Cole. I think Cross you still leave him in NXT for a little while, just because I feel that he'll be an unmitigated disaster on the main roster. Because Vince will just find a way to mess him up with Cole. I think that I would love to see a match between him and Randy Orton. As much as I'm kind of jaded on the WWE prog, that would be a match that I would actually be willing to check out. That's intriguing to me.
Adam Cole is already established, baby.
Yep.
So it would make good sense to do something like that. Have Shawn Michaels come in there, tell Orton, I wish I could kick your ass myself, but I can't. But
that's how you book it.
I've got my guy, Adam Cole, who can do that.
Yep.
And then maybe that's a setup for whatever this next pay-per-view is going to be, or drag it out a little bit even till Survivor Series. It's only, not that far away for Survivor Series. So we'll have to see.
Yeah. Survivor Series. Yeah, we'll see. That's that pay-per-view used to be something special, and it's not even on the radar anymore, unfortunately, which is kind of sad. Survivor Series used to be cool, but it ain't no mo. Let's just put it that way.
There we go.
All right, let's this was something that I wasn't sure if I was gonna want to do this, but I think this is something we could kind of sink our teeth into here. We're just past the halfway point of 2020, Karl. July, I guess, would have kind of officially kind of been essentially the halfway point of the year. So I figured we'd do kind of a midterm report card for some of the major wrestling promotions out there, and kind of give, I guess, essentially a letter grade for some of these promotions here, Karl.
Understandable. We are halfway through the year, and we are halfway through our program. So now is the time that we should take a quick break.
Sure.
When we come back from our break here, we're going to talk about our mid-year report card on the major promotions. So I'm going to play a couple of commercials here for everybody, and we'll be right back.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connects emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
The dictionary defines hero as a person who is admired or idealized for courage, outstanding achievements, or noble qualities. Being a hero in life is far more than words printed on a page. It takes an unwavering code, a compass that points true north, always. And in times like these, it takes sacrifice. Hero shouldn't be a word defined by a dictionary. It's a word that should be defined by the best of us. Hero has a new definition.
Nice
So there we go, everybody. Back from the break, hearing from our friends over at Collar and Elbow brand. See the ticker down below? collarandelbowbrand.com. If you use promo code JK Podcast at the checkout, you're going to get 10% off your entire order. No matter what you buy, whether it is brand new or clearance to merchandise, you will get 10% off. So make sure you go and check out collarandelbowbrand.com, promo code JK Podcast. Again, that's collarandelbowbrand.com.
Absolutely. Some good stuff over there, as always, with those guys. And you can get some stuff on the cheap as well, as they kind of phase out some of their older product and bring in some of their new ones, which is really cool. All right, Karl, let's do our mid-term report card for these companies here. And I figure we'll start off with the company that I actually chose as my promotion of 2019, and that would be Ring of Honor. Again, a lot of this is going to be affected by, what's been happening worldwide here. And I got to say, I give Ring of Honor some high marks here. They decided to kind of cease doing shows pretty early on, not to put their talent in any kind of danger, but they kept them employed. For the most part, there wasn't a big letting go of talent or anything like that. They were able to keep on. This is where the partnership with Sinclair probably really helps, and there's a lot of money there, so they're able to keep the majority of their talent. So if I were to give Ring of Honor a report card so far for the 2020, I would say I would give them a solid B. They haven't done a whole lot live, but they've kept their audience engaged on YouTube, lots of free content on there. And they're able to keep most of their talent. So I can't really speak too negatively about Ring of Honor here, Karl. They've done well considering.
Yeah, they definitely have. I can't say anything horrible about what they've been doing either. Since the very beginning of all of this, I have said that I have been a huge fan of going back and watching these guys that are going out there and talking about their favorite matches.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what Ring of Honor has been doing a collection of these guys over an hour period and letting them show you their favorite match that they have had within Ring of Honor. It's been a fantastic idea. I've been super happy with it. And letter grade, I'm looking a solid B as well.
Yep. I think this most recent one, I think they did Red Titus. And
yes.
that one was quite cool. I enjoyed that one. Which company you want to talk about next year, Karl? When it comes to
Let's go Impact.
Let's go Impact. Impact. It's been interesting and bizarre all at the same time. It's been a real rocky road, not only just in this past year, but just in the history of this company. But in this latter, in this kind of this mid part of the year, Karl, some interesting stuff has actually been happening with Impact. They've seems to be a bit of a shift in the company here, and we're bringing in some of the right people and kind of steering things in the right direction again. So it's, I would say, for the most half of the year, they weren't really on my radar too much, but recently it's gotten interesting. I like some of the personnel that they have there, and hopefully they can hang on to that core group and kind of build on that. So I would give them kind of B, maybe almost close to a C when it comes to Impact. They've done some good stuff, but in traditional kind of Impact fashion, they tend to kind of shoot themselves in the foot. Bringing back some of the TNA stuff, I think, was a pretty polarizing move, but definitely resonated with some earlier fans. So TNA is a strange company. It's a strange company. Let's put it that way.
It definitely is. Again, Impact is a Canadian company, and I am all for Canadian companies. I was definitely a fan of when Moose brought back that TNA title. That is, for me, nostalgia. Mm-hmm. I've always been a fan of Impact or TNA or whatever you want to call it. I've been to live TNA shows. Yep. It was Impact then. It wasn't TNA. Right. But I mean, I've gone to shows for Impact, and I've always been entertained. Never left unhappy. Did VIP meet and greets. Got to talk with some people. This is back when Impact was doing the first run of Joseph Park.
Yes.
So Abyss was Joseph Park. And he stayed in character for everything as well, because I pulled out I had a program. I pulled out the program to have the few people that were there to sign for me, and he was one of the people. So I'm like, hey, can you sign this for me? I really appreciate that. Like I'm a fan. I love what you're doing. Everything is good.
Right.
And it was the photo of Abyss, and he goes, "Oh, you want me to sign on my brother?" And I'm like, "Please, yeah, sure." So he signed it, Joseph Park, over Abyss, which was really cool. Got to meet Velvet Sky as well. Phenomenal girl, her. Like face to face, like super close to Jeff Hardy as he was doing his entrance for a steel cage match that happened. That was my first experience of a steel cage match, happened in Impact.
Nice.
So I've always been happy with Impact, and what they've been doing recently, I am a fan of as well. So Impact, I'm giving them a B+.
Okay, there we go. The next one I want to talk about here, Karl, is probably one of the, I would say out of the group here, probably the strangest one. And we're talking NWA. Near the end of 2019, we started doing the power shows. And then I believe it would have been earlier this year or a little bit into this year, when we had the issues and we had the deal with Jim Cornette.
Yep.
I hate to say I told you so and saw that coming, but I told you so and saw that coming. When you deal with Jim, you give him a live microphone, you get what you get with him, and I'm not surprised that some shenanigans happened there, but I was disappointed at the same time because it seemed like that was one of the things that kind of killed the momentum, Karl.
I have to agree. It definitely did kill the momentum. Yeah, it was
outside of the COVID stuff. That was something that just it didn't help. It really didn't help.
This was all pre-COVID.
Yeah. So, yeah, they had such a good thing going, and dealing in and out with the fallout of COVID. We've seen a lot of talent going elsewhere, which is it's worrisome for this company because. What I take away from this is that these talents don't have faith in this product. That's why they're going elsewhere, and it's really unfortunate. Ricky Stark's probably the most notable one.
I don't know necessarily that it's that they don't have faith in the product. It's that there's no work inside that promotion right now.
That as well.
And if you're not working, you're not paying the bills.
True.
Right. Yep. I think that's what it really boils down to. So, yeah. I'm just going to give my grade for NWA C-.
C-. I'm right there kind of with you. Do you think that this company is still around at the end of the year, Karl? I do. As in its current form. Yeah.
I definitely do. As long as we can get past this pandemic that's going on, I think that we're definitely going to see the NWA start to kind of rise and shine once again. Them having this YouTube series that they've been doing, Power, was phenomenal. It was fantastic. I was loving it. Having the old studio setting, having like 1980s type of setup going on. Like I was truly digging it. And then Jim Cornette happened, and then COVID happened. So
COVID happened.
Yeah.
Since you're pretty up on them, I'll just for the sake of argument, I'll kind of go on the other side of things. Just given everything, and Billy Corgan are already seemingly kind of wanting to pull out of the company. I hate to say it, Karl, but I'm afraid that they might not be around at the end of the year, even though their website isn't really being maintained anymore. I think that the NWA will always kind of be there, quote unquote. It's always going to, the belt's always going to be there, and what the company means will always kind of be there. But what the NWA is like physically in its current form, I don't know if they make it out of the end of the year, quite frankly. I think that, bankruptcy or something like that might actually come into the picture. I hate to say it. Because I dig the studio wrestling as well. But damn Jim Cornette, damn you. That really, really did help.
I really hope you're wrong in your.
I want to be wrong, Karl. I want to be wrong. I really do.
Yeah, I know.
But damn it, just it's. I don't know. Like I said, though, this is the real kind of question mark out of this whole group here. Next, Karl, let's talk about
no pun intended.
Right. Let's talk about AEW next here, Karl.
Sure.
I'll let you go first. What do you think of AEW so far?
AEW still growing, still learning,
Yep.
still trying to find what's going on and their place in everything. AEW, I'm giving a B-, believe it or not. Only because they still need to figure their crap out. You heard earlier Jimmy Kuderis talking about the referees and blatant stuff that's going on and stuff that's happening that really shouldn't be happening there. Like it's really weird stuff that's going on. Have they established themselves? They definitely have, but they need to do something that's going to set them just a bar higher before any better grade can be given to them. Don't get me wrong. I love AEW and what they're doing and what's going on with that company right now. I love seeing a little bit of attitude-ish era type of stuff going on. Sometimes a little too much. We talked about that skateboard incident that happened. That was a little too much, I think.
That was rough
for today anyways. But a B- for them. Maybe by the end of the year, if they can kind of hone in, but I think it might be a couple of years before we really can give them a grade of an A.
For myself, on the positive side of things, I've really been liking what Cody's been doing with the TNT title. Giving a lot of unknowns a shot, getting them a chance on television. Some have hit the mark, some maybe not so much. But gotta give Cody props for basically getting some exposure for these talents, and I think it makes AEW look good as a company. That aspect of it. On the other hand, having for myself, the impression I kind of get here is that I feel like we're in a situation again where we kind of have the inmates running the asylum again. We have, the talents kind of running the show, and
WCW.
That's my only concern with AEW here, Karl. And we have Tony Khan calling some shots as well. He's been referred to as the money mark. It's hard to disagree with that sentiment, but it's a totally different feel to the big company, which we'll get to later. But I worry that there's just too much nepotism going on. That is my biggest criticism of AEW. We've been bringing in all of Cody's buddies that were cast away from the WWE. We've mentioned that before. And I was afraid that we were going to do a little too much of poking and prodding of WWE, and we've definitely seen some of that. I want AEW to shift their focus from thinking that they're trying to compete with the other company and just do their own thing and kind of be their own entity, for better or for worse. Put out the product that they want to be, and if you like it, great. If you don't, then you can go elsewhere. There's, like we're talking here, there's lots of other promotions. If you don't like AEW, don't watch it. So
that's right.
If I were to give it a letter grade, I would give it a B- as well. A B-, leaning almost to a C, just because I feel that some of the stuff that they're doing is a little counterproductive. But sure. It hasn't been quite that alternative that we were kind of clamoring for at the beginning. It's, in my opinion, I think it's fallen a little short, but it is some other wrestling to watch, which isn't all bad.
There we go. Let's move on to the conglomerate, the World Wrestling Entertainment. I know that you're really itching to.
I want to leave that one for last, Karl. I want to leave that one for last.
Seriously?
I want to leave that one for last. Let's talk.
Okay.
I want to talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling first, because I want to be positive before I go like way off the deep end.
I was trying to end things on a good note, not a bad note.
Okay, well let's we'll do it your way instead. Okay, well, with WWE, I'll go first here, Karl. I'll start off. I'll give the letter grade right off the hop here, Karl, and it's going to sound really, really harsh, but I'm going to give it. I give the WWE a very good, solid F, and that's I won't go any further with other letters because I could if I really want to, but I give them a solid F just because I think that we've dropped, especially during COVID here, I think we've dropped the ball so many times with so many things. I mean, Jesus, we could do a whole episode on this here, Karl. But the big thing that pissed me off with WWE recently was all of the talent that was let go, and I felt that they didn't need to do that. They're claiming all these record profits. Despite of how crappy the product is, apparently they're raking in the money. Why did they let go of all this talent? And then, there's rumors that some of these higher up executives got raises because of this. I mean, there's so many shenanigans and underhanded stuff going on here, Karl. This is no longer the company that we knew as kids here, Karl. We're way off from this now.
Yeah, we definitely are.
I don't want to come off as just somebody that's totally anti-WW, because I've always said, I want them to be successful. They're supposed to be the marquee product, the marquee wrestling company out here, Karl, but they seemingly shoot themselves in the foot at every opportunity, even more so than companies like Impact, I find. But yeah, that move of just that whole big talent dump, I thought wasn't necessary. I put my finger mainly at that thing.
I agree.
That's my main issue.
I definitely agree with you. Am I going to go with the letter F? No. But I will, for this mid-year report card on the WWE, I'm going to give them a D.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, everything that you've just talked about, I fully agree with. I mean, the WWE is supposed to be the standard. Mm-hmm. And they just aren't right now. It just does not feel like they are the standard when it comes to the world of professional wrestling.
And just some of the really tone-deaf storylines going on, and just some of and the social media aspect of it. This company probably feels it more than anybody else. And these talents are a certain way on social media, but then their character is so much different, and then we lose that believability factor. It's the list kind of goes on and on, but the negatives here. And when it comes to the positives, I mean, those are hard to find these days with WWE. I mean, even some of the NXT stuff is getting a little bit questionable. And
I still like Alexa Bliss.
Yep, although
there's a positive.
They're seemingly doing weird stuff with her too.
They definitely are, but I still like Alexa Bliss.
Yeah. I'll let you have that one. I don't want to ruin that one for you. But yeah, I've gone from watching NXT and stuff all the time. I barely, I'll be perfectly honest with you, I barely watch NXT anymore. I'll watch highlights and stuff like that to stay in touch with the product. But they've lost me as a fan currently, Karl, and I don't like saying that. But
I know.
We're going to get into some breaking news later on that will hopefully maybe shed some light on that, but we'll get to that. Let's touch on the last major promotion that we want to talk about here, Karl. New Japan Pro Wrestling. So we've gone from the extreme negative to the extreme positive. I'll start off. I will give the New Japan Pro Wrestling Company a very high mark. I'm going to give them an A+ here, Karl. I think that they've handled the pandemic situation the best way that they can possibly be handled. They've handled it with class, Karl. They've handled it with class. We have WWE almost kind of making fun of the situation at times. New Japan Pro Wrestling taking it very, very seriously and respecting their fans. The together, even that little thing there, the Together Project Special. I think that statement there kind of really shows that New Japan Pro Wrestling not only respects their talent, they respect their fans, and then they respect the professional wrestling business. And since coming back, they've done excellent despite having relatively few fans in the arenas. I don't know what else to kind of say. I think they've done the best of the entire group here, Karl. They kept their fans throughout all this, and their fans are still here now that they've come back again. And I think it's because of that respect factor, and that just comes with the Japanese mentality, I think, as well. So
I definitely think so as well. I'm definitely giving them an A for what they've done. They handled things so professionally throughout this pandemic. As well, like now, kind of bringing us shows and matches again, and the quality of work is second to none. Like it's fantastic what New Japan Pro Wrestling does with their talent and how they allow them to go out there and work. So yeah, in the world of professional wrestling, they are the people right now. And I am digging it. I'm loving it. And I am super happy. And they get a letter A from me.
Absolutely. I would definitely agree. And yep, it's been an interesting year, and of course, a lot of this has been affected by the pandemic, the pandemic, COVID-19, whatever you want to call it. But we've really seen the cream rise to the top here, Karl, and we'll see what happens as hopefully this starts winding down. Hopefully, and we'll see what WWE can do and see if maybe they can get back on top here, because I feel that they definitely are not in that position anymore. At least when when it comes to the true wrestling fan out there. Before we do our match of the week here segment here, Karl, let me find the bit here. Let us do some breaking news. So these are just a couple things that have kind of popped up since me writing the run and sending it off to Karl as I usually do. One thing I want to touch on, I want to get your opinion on more or less on this, is this Retribution group that's going on in WWE right now. I'm a little out of the loop with this whole thing here, but what is your take on, we're going to bring this guy up again, which is unbelievable. This is probably more than anything else. The rumor that CM Punk is the leader of this group here. Karl, I think you knew this was coming. What are the chances of this being the case?
No.
No.
No. No. No. No. No. No. No. No. No. No. No. No. No. No. You see what that was? Yep. That was me telling all those people that are like, it's CM Punk. No.
Yep.
Come on. Like, just leave the guy alone. Let him be. Let him do what he's got to do. Let him do what he wants to do. Mm-hmm. Leave CM Punk's name out of your mouths. Keep him off of your tongue. Just shut up about CM Punk already. Yeah. Retribution. Mm-hmm. We talked about this before. It's, Nexus 2.0. That seems to be all it really is. Yeah. And I'm not interested in it, to be honest, unless they reveal some, wild, crazy type of name coming from it. I'm not interested.
No. Yeah, my expectations are pretty low for it as well. The other thing I want to talk about, as you were talking about SummerSlam and all that kind of stuff, there's been some updates to this kind of situation, especially with the Amway Center. So, first of all, they're going to have fans at the show here, Karl.
They are now.
They're going to have virtual fans.
Oh!
And from what I'm seeing, it could possibly be something similar to what they've been doing with the NBA. Have you watched any of these NBA games or seen clips of these NBA games that have been happening recently?
No.
What they've been doing is essentially the crowd, it's all one big television panel, and it's broken up into, these are people watching at home, and they're essentially broadcasting their camera view like we're doing, and you see each individual person kind of in the crowd. They're virtual fans, and that's how they've been doing it in the NWA, or not NWA, NBA. Too many letters, I'm getting them mixed up. But that's possibly what they could be doing here with this, Karl, is and what I could see is you basically pay a little bit of a premium to kind of be shown there.
Okay.
That's kind of interesting. The other thing with this is that they're going to turn the Amway Center into what they're calling the Thunderdome. Yes. I have no idea what this is about, Karl. I have a feeling that this is tied into the whole we're going away from PG.
From the WWE at WWE.com. Okay, WWE Thunderdome featuring a state-of-the-art set, video boards, pyrotechnics, lasers, cutting-edge graphics, and drone cameras will take WWE fans' viewing experience to an unprecedented level starting this Friday, August 21st on Fox, kicking off the SummerSlam weekend. With the debut of the Thunderdome, WWE will take residency at the Amway Center in Orlando, and as Joe was just mentioning there, virtually bring fans into the arena via live video on massive LED boards, in conjunction with the famous group and its proprietary technology for every Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, and pay-per-view event starting tonight. Fans can register for their virtual seat to be part of the upcoming shows via www.wwethunderdome.com or at WWE's Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter pages. So that is the write-up from a portion of the write-up from WWE on this state-of-the-art viewing experience, Thunderdome.
Yep.
I do have to mention here, it's probably changed up a little bit, but I don't know if you're going to be able to see that there.
Yep. From WWE.com. There we go.
WWE introducing new state-of-the-start viewing experience.
State of the start.
Right?
Whoops.
Somebody's fired.
Yeah, somebody's getting fired for that one.
So yeah, that's I mean, even on, if you want to take a look at that article, you can go to WWE.com and try to find it, or go to our Facebook page at TB Talk Pod, because it is clickable right there for you.
I'm intrigued, but at the same time, I'll pull out a statement that I've used a few times on this program here, Karl, and okay. I hate to sound like a meanie here, but I'm going to anyways. A polished turd is still a turd, Karl. You can have it all nice and shiny and have lasers shooting all over the place, but if the product still sucks, the product still sucks. So if we're going to go through all this trouble, fine and dandy, but we've got to make a shift in the other aspect of it as well, because otherwise it's still going to come across as the same thing, just it looks shinier. To people like us, to the casual fan, the casual observer, they're going to be probably all up in it for a little while until they kind of see beneath the surface. Whereas people like us, necessarily in the wrestling bubble, we're going to see through all the lasers and all the shiny bells and whistles. But I'll give them credit for trying something. But you got to do something with it, guys. Do something with it. If it's going to be a premium that you have to pay for, I'm not paying for it. No. I already subscribe to your stupid network that I get all of this stuff. I already subscribed to that. Why are you going to charge me extra money now? And I can't even be there. Yeah. I got a couple of pieces of breaking news. I got 3 things. Do you have anything else for some breaking news there, Joe? I don't. Fire away, sir. Okay. So, first, on a bit of a sad note, for those of you that don't know my oldest child, I named that child Xavier. I wanted to name him Hunter. Things had happened, whatever. We ended up on the name Xavier. And I ended on that name because of one man named John Curious, Kirius, known as the former Ring of Honor world champion Xavier. And he has sadly passed away. Wow. Ian Riccaboni had tweeted out, man, gone way too soon. Always so nice when he'd swing by NYC for ROH events. Unheralded and underappreciated. Was looking forward to calling his comeback match in ROH. So the news is broke, and Ring of Honor even issued a statement saying that they are saddened to learn of the passing of former world champion Xavier, or John Bedoya. Sorry. Yep. Yeah. So, bit of bad news, which kind of sucks. Yeah. But yeah, if go and check them out if you can. Type in to YouTube ROH Xavier and see what comes up, and just fantastic from him. Yeah. Next little part of news is something kind of funny from Tampa Bay, Florida. Oh. Some stalker I did hear about has been arrested. Florida man, let's say that. Tampa Bay, Florida man has been arrested on kidnapping charges at the home of WWE star Sonya Deville. So this guy literally went to her house, camped out, cut a hole in the screen, watched, waited until she went to bed, then entered into her house. And of course, she's got alarm systems. Of course, the alarm systems all went off, and this guy was caught and arrested. Yeah. So a little bit of humor coming out of that. Yeah, good luck, buddy. This guy, I guess, has been really stalking Sonya Deville on Twitter, online recently, and this is what it came out to. Barking up the wrong tree there. Right? She will hurt you at the risk of, a little kind of risque, but I mean, she's not even into guys.
Yeah, right.
Just putting it out there. And, this is an example, and this is a whole, we could venture off into a whole topic in itself on this here, Karl, of what can happen when you become too obsessed with wrestling, when you can become too attached. This kind of stuff can kind of happen. Actually, this could potentially be a showstopper segment in the future because, this isn't the first time that something like this has happened, unfortunately. But all I will say just with this is that, I don't know. It's a tough thing to I'd have to really sit down and think about this to really get a full opinion about it. But do other things than just watch wrestling. I'll just start with that. Like I said, this will probably be a full out of the topic, but just do other things in your life. Don't obsess just about kind of one person because it's a very dangerous path that you could be going down there. That's all I'll say for the time being.
Definitely is. Last piece of news that I've got is actually for my friend Ian, otherwise known WCW and ECW as Vampiro. So he has a documentary that's been done on him. Nail in the Coffin is what it's called. 88-minute documentary to be released by Epic Pictures in theaters on Friday, September 4th, before coming to video on demand and digital on Tuesday, September 8th. So, yeah, it's talking about Ian Hodgkinson. It tells a story about his meteoric rise to fame in the 90s and how it almost killed him. So if you've ever gone through and watched the resurrection of Snake Roberts, this I think is going to probably be kind of the same thing. Unlike many professional wrestling documentaries before, heartfelt look at the wrestler who's overcome and continues to battle physical injuries, sexual abuse, drug addiction, not to mention wild stories of working for Milli Vanilli and wrestling alongside rock band The Misfits.
That guy was tag teaming with Mood over in Japan at one point.
Right? Yeah.
Right? So, that dude's taken, he's had a rough road through life. And,
So, just to put it out there for everybody, come September 8th on demand, it's going to be available on Comcast, Spectrum, Charter, Dish, Sling TV, iTunes, Google Play, Vudu, Xbox, YouTube, Amazon, Fandango Now, DirecTV, Breaker, and Alamo On Demand. So a bunch of places that you can go to find this when it comes out. Nail in the Coffin, The Fall and Rise of Vampiro. So that's all I've got for some breaking news for this week here. What's next up here, Joe?
Let us do our match of the week segment here, Karl. And as I usually like to do, I think I'm going to let you go first because I think what tends to happen here, I've done a little bit of research here in some of my free time. When I tend to go first, we tend to have the same pick. So I think that having you go first, we end up with different picks. So I'll let you go first. What was your favorite match of the week for this last week that was professional wrestling?
Well, again, mine is not coming from anything that actually happened this week.
Me too.
Mine is coming from something that I had seen on my television screen from the WWE network. Okay, so I know that we don't have the same because Joe doesn't have the network.
Nope.
Mine is actually coming from August 29th, 1994 at the United Center. Steel cage match between Bret Hart and Owen Hart. Man, looking back at that, wow. First they had their match at WrestleMania 10, and then they continued things through, and then SummerSlam 94, everything culminates in a steel cage match between these two. And just the inclusion that they had of the family ringside, all of it, everything that they did for this was just picture perfect. How things should be. Well, how things I remember them to be and how I enjoy them. There's my pick for the match of the week that I was able to watch this week. We're looking Bret Hart versus Owen Hart, United Center, 1994 SummerSlam. Big Joe, what's yours?
Before I do my pick here, I want to see if you can pick it here. Where do you think, what company do you think my pick is coming from this week?
New Japan Pro Wrestling.
You will be wrong, sir.
What?
Yeah, you would be incorrect. Mine is actually coming from probably my second favorite company. We're talking Ring of Honor.
Okay.
I love watching Ring of Honor, and especially their YouTube stuff. I had mentioned earlier in the program, and I mentioned it on other episodes, that they've been showing full matches on YouTube. I love these, Karl. I love, and what's really cool is when you do one of these, when you watch one of these, YouTube picks up on this, and it'll keep showing other ones. And I've started one, and I've 4 or 5 hours will pass by, and I watched a whole bunch of Ring of Honor matches. This was a really cool one for me. I haven't seen this one before. This is from 2009. I'm not sure exactly what event this was, if it was a pay-per-view, if it was just a weekly show. But this was back when Ring of Honor had that black and red kind of ring look to it. And this was probably during the Nigel McGuinness and Bryan Danielson days, but it's not those guys. We're talking a match between Kenta and Tyler Black. Now, for the uninitiated out there, Tyler Black was known as Hideo Itami in WWE, and Tyler Black was currently now Seth Rollins in WWE. So this was kind of their alter ego, so to speak, in Ring of Honor, and this was another fantastic match here between these two guys here, Karl. Very kind of differing styles. Kenta kind of with that Japanese style, some kicks and some punch mixed in with some grappling, and then Tyler Black with your traditional kind of Seth Rollins kind of stuff. And I thought that style was a lot better suited to Ring of Honor than it was in WWE, but I digress on that. But just a great back and forth with these two guys, and Kenta ended up getting the best of Tyler Black on that, and there was a very cool exchange at the end, and I really enjoyed the ending of that match, and Kenta very convincingly getting the win on that one. But a match that's just over 18 minutes, so it's not an overly long match, but a really good one to check out. If you search it up on YouTube, you'll find it right away.
Awesome.
All right, man. Well, I think we'll maybe we'll take a little bit of another brief break here before we do our Showstopper segment. Maybe let's hear from our friends over at OVW.
Hi, my name is Barry Ratcliffe. You might recognize me from such films as The Longest Ride or Dead 2. Now, as a successful actor, I have 2 planes, a supermodel wife, countless exotic cars, and a ton of cash. You might think it couldn't get any better than this, but you'd be wrong. For only $4.99, you can get OVWWrestlingNetwork.com. That's OVWWrestlingNetwork.com for only $4.99. Now, will your life be as good as this? No. Will it be better? Yes, and I guarantee that. That's not valid anywhere. OVWWrestlingNetwork.com is only $4.99. Tomorrow's yesterday is today. Prices so low, they're insane. Want more bang for your buck? Well, so do I at OVWWrestlingNetwork.com. It's only $4.99 a month. In between excitement, me too. OVWWrestlingNetwork.com is only $4.99 a month. You get that incredible value. She cost me $17 million and I loved it. Want a real value? OVWWrestlingNetwork.com. It's only $4.99. That's a price so low. Well, it's insane.
I love that promo. That is so pro wrestling. That promo.
It is.
Give props to those guys. I have a feeling our friend Mr. Michael Melchor is probably behind that segment. that was fantastic. I love that band. I love playing it. All right, Karl, let us end off the program. We're running a little bit long, but that's cool. We've had some good discussions here. Let us do our Showstopper segment. All right, so this one is a little bit different here, Karl. When I saw this pop up on my weekly rummaging of looking for topics, as soon as I found this, I knew this was going to be our Showstopper. And this, ironically, strangely enough, it's a combination of 2 names that you wouldn't necessarily tie together. We're talking Mr. Eric Bischoff and John Cena. Essentially, Mr. Bischoff saying that there hasn't been a real star in professional wrestling since Mr. John Cena, as he just popped up on our screen here. I want to get your take on this before I give you mine here, Karl. What do you think? Is this are these some accurate words from Mr. Bischoff, or is he maybe incorrect?
Mr. Eric Bischoff is correct in what he is saying. I fully agree with Mr. Mr. Bischoff on this. I almost said Cornette. Eric Bischoff. I fully agree with that. Yep. Definitely. taking a look through trying to find a graphic for today. I just even Googled John Cena, went to the images, and you see like all of the different championships that he's held. You see the all the way back from the beginning where he came in and really started with that ruthless aggression stuff, and then, you know, kind of went to the thugonomics, and then like he's really built himself throughout everything. And one of the things that really, I think, makes you that star, let's say, is when the WWE allows you to make your own championship belt.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the big star that we had, you know, for us growing up, a little later in our teen years, was like Stone Cold. Stone Cold. He created his own championship belt and had that, carried it around.
Yep.
And then you saw the exact same thing happening with John Cena. He came in, won the United States Championship, turned it into a spinning title belt, went on and got the WWE Championship and changed that to his own spinning championship.
Yeah.
For me, like, I was just, wow, this guy is over enough that they allowed him to have his own championship title. Yeah, I mean, of this era, there hasn't been another big star in the WWE. I have to put that out there, in the WWE.
I was going to say that too. Mine comes with a little bit of an asterisk, but I'll get to that. I would definitely agree with you that that Cena, you know, when it comes to North American wrestling, was probably the most recent person that's been a star. Now, you know, I think we've kind of delved into this at points, kind of here and there. But is this largely, you know, his doing, or is this have a lot to do with the company too, or is it a little bit of both? Like are these people to the stars today, you know, are they, you know, trying to get to this level and just being hindered, or it's a bit of a debate that we can have, and I think a lot of people have had it. You know, we've talked about, you know, the Vince holding up the brass ring and people not being able to grab it because it doesn't really exist, and blah blah blah. You know, it's interesting because what I think it is here, I think it's a combination of Vince really seeing somebody that really does have that drive, and then it's a combination of that and then him actually believing in you for it to actually happen. And I just don't think that combination has happened since this man that's up on our screen right now.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. It was a combination between John Cena and the company itself.
Yep.
So the corporation builds the stars, but the star has to want to be able to do that. And John Cena definitely was one of those people that really took everything that he could and built upon it, whether it was, like I said, from the beginning with that ruthless aggression to then coming with the thugonomic stuff. Like, he really came into his own when that stuff came in, and then kind of shifting away from that a little bit as times changed, and built upon just John Cena instead of Dr. Thugonomics, built on John. And the company saw that he had that ambition and that drive, and that's why he became that star. And I don't know if right now there is anyone that has that same real drive. I think right now everybody's just kind of going, I'm getting my paycheck, I'm good.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you and then the aspect of it. For myself, like I said, mine comes with a bit of an asterisk because I definitely agree that in North American wrestling, the statement with Cena, I think, definitely is correct. But elsewhere, I think there are people that have stepped up, and I think the most notable one that I need to point out is over in Japan, and his name is Mr. Kazuchika Okada. That is an example of a guy that has bucked the trend. I mean, that man is a legitimate star, and just not just in professional wrestling. He is just somebody that maybe is not quite at that Hulk Hogan kind of persona level, but I mean, most people in Japan know who this guy is. And when you can break out of the wrestling bubble and just be known in popular culture, that's when we start getting into this territory.
It's definitely. I mean,
right.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I have no words that I can say to contradict that at all. I'm in full agreement.
And that sentiment is carried over to North America with him as well. Like at All In, when he showed up there, he probably got the loudest pop,
right,
for that whole event. So that popularity is carried over to North America, which is cool to see. So, yep, some interesting stuff there. I don't know if there's really anybody, when I look over in North American wrestling, if there's really anybody that really stands out to me as somebody that can really get to that level. I think somebody that maybe comes close, Karl, I might be stretching here, but I don't really think so, would have been Batista. I think he was a guy that got really, really close, and he's done well in acting and stuff outside of WWE. And when he came back into that segment of going into Ric Flair's locker room and kind of dragging him out, that was a really kind of a glimpse of what WWE can do, something really cool when they put their minds to it. And again, less is more. I think that he would maybe have been the closest one that was maybe on the cusp of that, but just didn't quite get there.
Yeah, I would agree.
All right, man. Well, I guess is there anything else that we need to cover this week? We've got a little bit longer this week, but I think we've covered a lot. We did.
Our report card did go a little bit long, but that's what happens. I mean, we're here, we're live, it's all good. We do have a couple of things to cover here with you. We want to go through our sponsors with you super quick. Our sponsors over at collarandelbowbrand.com. You guys have seen the commercial for that. If you've been watching, collarandelbowbrand.com, go and check them out. Amazing merchandise over there. Use promo code JKPodcast at the checkout. You're going to get yourself 10% off your entire order. Make sure you go and check out collarandelbowbrand.com. We also have a sponsor in Phoenix Health Supplements. If you're looking for a pre-workout, a post-workout, whey protein, super greens, some collagen, if you're looking for testosterone, whatever you're looking for, go and check them out at fnxfit.com. Use promo code TBTalkPod and you are going to get 15% off your entire order over at fnxfit.com. And take a look at what Big Joe is wearing there. Take a look at what Karl Karufel is wearing here. Take a look at this.
I know, I want one of those.
Look at that.
Yep.
We have our own merchandise, people. If you are looking to grab yourself a Turnbuckle Talk shirt, a mug, a travel mug, a hoodie, a hat, anything that you want, go and check us out. We have our own merch. Turnbuckle-talk.myshopify.com. Or go to any of our social media, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at TBTalkPod, and links are right there for you to click on that will take you right to our store. I do want to mention that for all three of those avenues to get yourself something, whether it's the Collar and Elbow merchandise, whether it's our merchandise, or whether it is the supplements for your health, we do receive a kickback that comes to us for all of that to continue to bring you these video streams, these video casts, keeps the Podbean going for the podcast, and who knows what else may come out of all of this. So make sure that you're going and checking out all three of those. Like I said, we get a small kickback out of it, and those kickbacks actually help us pay for all of this. We don't want your money. We want you to go and buy something so that you have something to help support the podcast. That's all we ask.
There we go. I don't think I could have worded that any better myself. All right, Karl. I'll Dusty, our friend Mr. Dusty Gold, hopping on here in the last minute saying, "What's up, guys? Good to see you, Dusty." And watch for him coming up very soon on Ohio Valley Wrestling, coming very soon.
That's right. Super excited and super happy for Dusty Gold.
Yep.
This guy has clawed his way from the bottom up to the top, and the guy is going to do amazing things inside of OVW. Make sure that you're watching. You saw the commercial earlier about the OVW Wrestling Network. You can go and subscribe to that as well, and you'll be able to start seeing Dusty Gold in action over there. Find the guy, look him up. You will not be disappointed with what you've seen or what you will see coming out of any of his matches. We haven't been disappointed, and you know how critical we are of professional wrestling. I've been super happy with everything that I've seen coming from Dusty Gold. Go and find anything by Dusty Gold in YouTube, check it out because the guy's going places. You're going to want to follow this guy. He's going straight to the top.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Everybody stay safe, be nice to each other, and we will see you guys on the next one.
Have a nice day.
It's me. It's an honor to be the V. As you can tell in the background, we are out celebrating. That is what we do here at hittingthemarks.com. And I invite everyone to continue to tune in to Turnbuckle Talk, but check out all of our other shows we have. You can find that all at hittingthemarks.com.
Run.